Felix and Lydia met at the National Youth Corps camp and instantly connected. They were inseparable, their love so pure that people around them envied their bond. The way they looked at each other, the way they spoke, it was a connection that most people could only dream of. After their camp days, they got married, a union everyone believed was built to last. They had planned to have only 2 children, not caring whether they were boys or girls. Barely a few weeks after their honeymoon, Lydia found out she was pregnant. When Felix returned home from work that evening, Lydia could hardly contain her excitement as she told him the good news. "Felix, I have something to tell you," she said, her voice bubbling with joy. Felix, with a broad grin, sat beside her. "What is it? You look like you've got good news." Lydia couldn't hold it back any longer. "I'm pregnant, Felix. We're going to be parents." She almost screamed the last words, laughter and joy mixing in her tone. Felix froze for a second, as if the words hadn't fully registered. Then, a wide smile broke across his face. "Lydia, this is amazing. I can't believe it. We're going to have a baby." He hugged her tightly, lifting her off her feet. Their excitement filled the room. From that day, Felix refused to let Lydia lift a finger. He took over all the cooking, cleaning, and even the laundry. He became obsessed with taking care of her. He showered her with gifts, constantly buying her new clothes and shoes as she complained about her old ones no longer fitting due to the pregnancy. He wanted her to feel as comfortable as possible. Their neighbors, mostly women, watched with envy. They couldn't help but ask Lydia, "Which native doctor did you go to get a charm for such a husband?" Lydia would blush and reply, "It's just God's grace. After all the pain I went through in my past relationships, He gave me the best." Felix was also a doting husband when it came to Lydia's health. He never missed a single antenatal appointment. If possible, he would have loved to carry the baby himself just to spare her from the sleepless nights and discomforts of pregnancy. He was beyond thrilled when they discovered they were having twins. The excitement was infectious, and Lydia couldn't help but feel blessed. One evening, as Lydia was chopping some fruits for a salad, she suddenly felt a sharp cramp. At first, she thought it was just the usual discomfort of pregnancy, but the pain worsened. Before she knew it, her water broke, and she cried out for help. Amaka, a neighbor who had just returned from her salon appointment, heard the cry and rushed into the apartment. "Lydia, are you okay?" she asked, rushing inside. I don't feel right, Amaka. Something's wrong." Amaka took charge, grabbing Lydia's things. "You're in labor, don't worry. I'll get you to the hospital right away. Just hang in there." Amaka quickly helped Lydia gather her things, and they both rushed to the hospital. Amaka called Felix, who immediately left work in a frenzy, rushing to the hospital like his world was falling apart. When he arrived, the nurses informed him that Amaka had left due to an emergency, and his wife was still in labor. Felix was both anxious and excited, wanting nothing more than for both his wife and babies to be healthy. After what seemed like an eternity, the doctor emerged, and Felix rushed to him, nearly tripping over his own feet. "Doctor, how is my wife? How are the babies?" he asked, his voice trembling. The doctor smiled slightly, a glint of relief in his eyes. "Congratulations, Mr. Felix. Your first son is out, and he's healthy. But there's a complication." Felix's face drained of color. "What complication? What's wrong with my wife?" The doctor hesitated for a moment before speaking. "The second twin is coming out breech. He's overweight, which is unusual, and we've tried turning him, but he keeps coming with his butt first. At this point, we can't risk a normal delivery, so we need to perform a C-section to get him out safely." Felix's heart skipped a beat. "Please, doctor, do whatever it takes to save my wife. If it means losing one of the babies, I'll accept that. But save her. Please." The doctor's expression hardened. "We will do our best, Mr. Felix. We won't give up." Outside the operating room, Felix prayed fervently. He bargained with God, offering anything he could to ensure the safety of his wife. "Lord, I'll build a skyscraper for the church if you save her. I'll give more than 1/10 of my tithe. I'll even baptize my entire village if you just let her make it through this." After what felt like hours, the doctor emerged. Felix's heart dropped when he saw the somber look on his face. "I'm sorry, Mr. Felix," the doctor said. "We did everything we could, but your wife didn't make it. However, your second child is alive. Would you like to see him?" Felix was in disbelief. No, you can't say that." He collapsed on his knees, tears streaming down his face. "Please, save her. Please, don't take her from me." The doctor's face was full of sympathy. "I'm sorry, sir, but your sons are alive. Please come and meet them." When Felix entered the nursery, he was met with the sight of his second son. But his joy turned to confusion. That's not my child," he shouted. "Why is he albino? My wife and I have no history of albinism in our families. Did you switch my child?" The doctor was calm. "No, Mr. Felix. This is your son. He inherited 2 mutated genes from you and your wife. It's a rare condition, but it happens. He's still your child." Felix was furious. "No. He killed my wife with his weight, and now he's albino? How much of a curse did he bring with him?" In his grief, Felix decided to leave the hospital with only his firstborn, Abel, refusing to take the albino child with him. But just as he was leaving, a marker came rushing in, holding the second child. "Mr. Felix, why did you leave your second child at the hospital?" "The hospital called me to come pick him up," she said, sounding concerned. Felix snapped, "Take that cursed child away from me. He killed my wife and still had the nerve to come out albino. I don't want him." "Mr. Felix, that's not fair to the baby," Amaka said, her voice stern. "It's not his fault he's overweight or albino. Please don't abandon him. Take him home. Treat him like Lydia would have wanted." Amaka handed the baby to Felix, who reluctantly took him in his arms. That was the beginning of Felix's resentment toward his second son, whom he named Cain. From that moment, he treated Abel like a prince, showering him with love and attention, while Cain was left to fend for himself. Felix's treatment of Cain was cruel. Whenever both children cried, he would pick up Abel first, ignoring Cain's cries. He fed Abel first, gave him the best clothes, while Cain wore his brother's old clothes. The neighbors noticed the unfair treatment he showed Cain, and they only pitied the innocent child. Some of them even tried talking to him. "Stop acting like a jealous, wicked stepmother and treat your sons fairly," one of his neighbors said to him one evening. "Children are blessing from God, no matter the skin color," another added. "If the cursed child had died and my wife lived, I wouldn't be suffering as much as I am right now. Do you know the sleepless night, stress and headaches from taking care of them? If it wasn't for that cursed child overweight, my wife would have been alive taking care of them," he cried. "We know you love your wife so much. I'll advise you get yourself together and channel that love to your 2 sons, not just one. You're really creating a bad bridge between those children." As the twins grew older, Abel was glowing and looking healthier than Cain. It was very obvious to the 2 siblings who their father loved most. Felix would always buy new car toys and gifts for Abel, while Cain had to play with Abel's old spoilt toys, same as Abel's old worn-out clothes and shoes. Felix preferred carrying Abel to parks and other children's birthday parties, leaving Cain alone at home cleaning, washing cars and clothes, cooking and arranging everywhere like a female maid. Cain was also the brighter one. He was so good at maths and other subjects that he had to be forced to do Abel's assignments, write his test and sometimes write his exams by writing Abel's name on his exam script, while Abel wrote Cain's name on his own exam script, making Abel take good positions in the class and Cain took the poorest position, as his brother knew nothing than just play video games with his friends while Cain read and did assignments. Cain always felt bad that he was always treated as less than, as the curse that killed his mother. As a result, Cain found solace in his drawings, using art to escape the harsh reality of his life. When it came time for both boys to graduate from secondary school, Felix only allowed Abel to apply for university, bribing officials to ensure his son's admission, as the boy knew nothing. Cain begged his father to let him go to school too, but Felix refused, claiming he couldn't afford to send them both. Instead, he offered Cain the option to learn a trade, and Cain chose to become a painter, Disappointed at his choice, Felix let him go ahead with learning art as long as he wasn't spending as much money as he was spending on his favorite son Abel. He didn't care. After 5 years, Abel graduated with a heavy 3rd class. He had extra years, but as usual his father pushed buttons and got him to graduate, and still got him a good paying job at a friend's company. Abel started living large and spending carelessly, bringing in women and bad guys into his father's house. Felix couldn't say anything as Abel would threaten to cut his allowance or run away from home. Cain's journey was not an easy one. He struggled under his brother and father's cruelty, and when it was time to get settlement from his boss after the years of learning and working for him, he was eventually accused of stealing some artworks and selling them to people without his boss's notice, the same artworks he had made himself, the same artworks that got his boss high-paying clients. Cain cried and begged, but his boss kicked him out, leaving him with not even a painting brush for all the years he'd served him. When his father and brother heard of his unfortunate situation, they didn't cease to rain curses on him as usual. "Thief! I knew you'd disgrace me. But Papa, I didn't." "Shut up. Get out of my house." Cain stood alone in the night, shivering at when a car pulled up. "My son," a familiar voice called. He looked up. "Auntie Amaka?" She embraced him warmly. "What are you doing here by this time?" she asked, helping him pick up his bag. Cain broke down crying. "Father chased me out of the house because—" "It's okay, get in, my child," she interrupted. The drive to Amaka's new mansion was quiet, as Cain kept admiring her beautiful house. "Wow, Auntie Amaka, this place is so beautiful," Cain said when they stepped into the house. "Feel free to call this your new home now, my son," she said, leading him to his room. From that day onward, Amaka treated Cain as her own son, as she only had a beautiful daughter, Treasure, who was currently serving her father's land, and quickly Treasure and Cain bonded, as they had been playmate before Auntie Amaka moved out. Cain had always liked Treasure and sometimes teased her about getting married to her when they grow up, and as fate may have it, he and Treasure started dating. With Amaka's help, Cain opened an art shop. His work gained attention, and soon, he had galleries across cities. His name became known in the art world. He married Treasure with Amaka's blessing. Years passed. Neither his father nor brother reached out. Then one day, as he was sketching a beautiful portrait of Treasure, a message came. A man was asking to see him. He almost brushed it off until the name came through. It said, "Mr. Felix is here to see you, claiming to be your father." Felix froze for some second before excusing himself to see for himself, and there he stood, looking lean, darker, and unkempt. "Son," Felix said, his voice weak. Cain couldn't believe his eyes. "You. What do you want from me?" "I'm sorry for everything I did to you," Felix begged. "Your brother, Abel, he's in prison now for trafficking drugs. I've lost everything. I came to make amends, please, I need your help." Cain was seething with anger. "The audacity you have is so amazing. You really think I'm going to help you? The man who made my life a living hell? The man who blamed me for my mother's death?" Felix fell to his knees. "Please, son. I was wrong. I was depressed. I took it out on you. I'm sorry, I know better now." Cain shook his head, his heart heavy with years of pain. "No, you weren't depressed. You were just cruel. You made me feel like I wasn't worth anything, and now you come to me when your life is falling apart." Just then Treasure stepped out from behind the door where she's been listening to the father and son conversations, placing a gentle hand on Cain's shoulder. "Let it go, my love. Holding on to this hatred will only hurt you. Forgiveness will give you peace." Cain's eyes welled with tears as he turned to his father. "I forgive you. But I don't want anything to do with you anymore. You're not welcome in my life. I've moved on." He handed Felix a check for 20 million naira. "Take this, and start your life afresh, but I never want to see you anywhere near I or my family again. This is the last time I'll ever help you. Say hello to your favorite son in jail for me." Felix accepted the money in shame, tears streaming down his face. "Thank you, son." As Felix walked away, Cain exhaled deeply. He turned to Treasure and smiled. "Thank you for all your comfort and support," he said, and they kissed. Hope you learnt something from this story. Please do well to share your thoughts in the comment section. Please subscribe, like, comment and share. Your support means a lot to me.